This is the beginning of a new ongoing series. It follows a microscopic alien entity that arrives on Earth and learns about life by inhabiting the bodies of animals, one host at a time. Drifter, written by Jim Mins.
The entity traveled many light years, riding the ripples of matter that elude human sight, drifting across galaxies at incalculable speeds. Like rain on dark matter, it emerged into the solar system of Earth, eventually drifting into weather patterns and landing in the oceans. There it sank and waited. It had exited many millennia. It did not mind waiting and observing. It had done so on many other planets. The next life form to pass by, the entity would hitch a ride, attach itself to the central nervous system, and experience life through the eyes of another. A microscopic seabed-dwelling tardigrade floated by. The entity did as its instinct directed. Life was fleeting and emotionless. The entity wanted more. It used the body of the tardigrade to float upwards. It attached itself to something drifting in the warmer waters. It entered via a nasal canal. It attached itself. It began to feel the instinct of the animal. The killer instinct. Indiscriminate. Years later, through the eyes of another species, the entity would come to realize that this animal was ruthless and bloodthirsty. Those animals referred to it as a shark. Right now, the entity let the characteristics of the killer envelop it, take over. It allowed the desire of the animal to speak for its actions. It ate, killed, and maimed anything in proximity. The pleasure of blood. This could be dangerously addictive, the entity thought. Very dangerous. This was permission to be evil. The entity had never experienced such reckless abandon before. On every planet of every society it had visited, order was always maintained and expected. On this planet, where oceans dominated, order was natural and unfair. The largest, fiercest, and most aggressive survived. That was the law, and the law was respected. The entity was the largest, most aggressive, most feared species. But a pleasure was acquired not just in the reputation, but in the kill itself. The beast enjoyed the destruction it was born to inflict. The entity was fascinated. The entity wished it could stay in the beast and inflict more and more damage, chasing a greater and greater dopamine hit. The beast had caused damage through the desire of the entity that attracted the wrath of the land dwellers. They took it upon themselves to hunt the beast. They would not rest until its viciousness was subdued. So the entity left the beast, reluctantly, before the edge of a spear brought an end to its newfound discovery. The entity searched for another. It expelled itself from the stem of the beast, instantly leaving behind the insatiable appetite. It longed for the desire to kill that it had left behind. The devastation, once unthinkable, was intoxicating. The entity would never be the same again. For a brief instant, the entity feared that it would carry with it the instincts of the beast forever. The entity wondered why it should be fearful of such an outcome. A burning sensation filtered through the entity as it sat on a rough surface, away from the oceans. A beach. There it waited and watched for another.